And on to debate number 2. The Supreme Court has extended the interim stay on the directives issued by both the UP and Uttarakhand government asking food stalls along the Kanwar Yatra route to prominently display names of their owners and staff members. The top court has reiterated that food shops cannot be forced to disclose their names or identity, and that the state can only ask them to display details of the kind of food items that they are serving. Meanwhile, the UP government has submitted an affidavit in the top court defending the directive issued. The state has said that objective was to bring transparency and give Kanwariyas choice regarding food, keeping in mind their religious sentiments. The Yogi government has also told the court that the order was not meant to discriminate on grounds of religion, but to ensure that the yatra passes off peacefully. The opposition has welcomed the Supreme Court's decision, saying that BJP's communal politics has been defeated.
जो कम्युनल जो पॉलिटिक्स थी उसका अंत अगर किसी ने किया तो समाजवादियों ने किया, पीडीए परिवार के लोगों ने किया, और हम लोगों पे आरोप लगाते थे कि ये एमवाई पार्टी है। लेकिन मुझे खुशी है कि इस बार पीडीए परिवार ने दोनों एमवाई को हरा दिया।
देखिए, मैं स्पष्ट करूं, अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट नहीं होता तो कभी भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार उत्तर प्रदेश की ये नहीं मानती कि उनका फैसला गलत है। ये तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट है जो मानना पड़ रहा है। जनता को नहीं सुनेंगे तो तानाशाही का अंत निश्चित है।
एक और आदमी है जो मोदी जी से बड़ा मोदी बनने की कोशिश कर रहा है, वो है धामी। उत्तराखंड जो देवभूमि है, उत्तराखंड जो भोलेनाथ की भूमि भी है, विष्णु जी की भूमि भी है, उस उत्तराखंड को भी हिंदू मुस्लिम के मजहबी टकराव के अंदर अगर कोई धकेलने की कोशिश कर रहा है तो वो उत्तराखंड के मुख्यमंत्री और वहां की सरकार है।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across to our guest. Joining us at the moment, we have Ishkaran Bhandari, advocate of the Supreme Court. Deshratan Nigam, who's with us, is a lawyer. We also have Kamruzaban Chaudhary, political analyst. Tariq Khan is national spokesperson of Samajwadi Party. Let me start with you first. Ishkaran Bhandari, the Supreme Court order today, in fact, it's extended the say, but it's also asked some questions. The court has questioned that why is the timing of this circular that has been issued now? Why this particular year? Why this particular area? There are some very pertinent questions that the opposition says have been posed by the bench. How do you respond to those?
Let us first give some information to the people of this country, which was also knowledge to me. I did not know that. It has come out in the UP government's affidavit. One of the things that UP government has said, that during Eid and Muharram, they make special arrangements. And if I may quote, in fact, as is well known, arrangements are made for village fairs for the sale and purchase of goats during the period. It goes further. Even the movement of pigs is restricted as it would offend the religious sensibilities of the minority community. So one should be aware of the fact. I do not know how the movement of pigs is restricted. Well, does the municipality do it? How is it done? But they must have to deploy some staff. How the fairs are organized, it must have to be done. So for minority community, on important days for them, there are certain special measures which are taken out. Now, if certain measures are taken to inform, there is nothing that the government is actively doing. In case of stopping pig movement, it has to actively do something. It is only people have to display their name. So that becoming a problem is something which I have a problem with. Now coming to the second aspect of it, there is also a clarification by the Supreme Court which everybody should know, which is if you voluntarily want to display name, I as an advocate Ishkaran Singh Bhandari can display my name at my law offices, at my residence, wherever I want to do. Similarly, it is important for people to know voluntarily they can display their name. When enough people voluntarily display their name, that also leads to a social change. And the third aspect, which is most important, because this time the state of Uttar Pradesh was represented, the state of Uttarakhand was represented, which says that there is a law which mandates your doing so. The court asked an important question, is it done across the state? I remember being on your debate, Madhav, where I predicted that it is only interim orders. Let's wait for the final orders. If the law allows display of name, we may end up with names being displayed not only on this yatra, but across the state. And
you can ask why not across the country if the FSSAI law is pertinent. But let me bring in Tariq Khan on that. Tariq Khan, if special arrangements are made, restricting pig movements during Muharram and Eid. Ishkaran Bhandari's question, and arising from the UP government's affidavit, is why is it a problem if it's done in other festive seasons and other religious occasions?
It seems to be that the person just speaking before me, he has more wisdom than the Supreme Court. Why did the Supreme Court is not being convinced and uplifted that ban uplifted that issue?
One moment. Let him make his point. You can get a chance to comment. Let him make his point.
Let me complete. The Supreme Court was not convinced. That's why Supreme Court has not uplifted the ban on that. Not to display the name. So you think that you have more wisdom compared to Supreme Court. It's all right. And restricting the pig or restricting the cows to enter in the agricultural land is a law and order things. Okay, it has nothing to do with discriminating the people of the nation. We have seen years of discrimination. Manu Smriti will not be revolted back in India, will not let do these things again happen, where poor people will not be allowed to enter in the schools and sit together. We have seen these things, and you just want to create that atmosphere, and we really, from the bottom of our heart, we thank Supreme Court that Supreme Court was not convinced with Uttar Pradesh government. Uttar Pradesh government tried to give 100 reasons that this was the reason we have done this during the Muslim festivals. We are doing this, but Supreme Court says that this action discriminate people. You cannot force them to display their name. And they also, UP government also said that this will create peace and transparency. So Supreme Court was still not convinced. No, you don't want to convince me, brother. You have to convince Supreme Court. And you think that you are more wiser than Supreme Court. It's all right. It's your decision.
It's okay.
But
yeah. Let's not get unnecessarily personal, Mr. Tariq Khan. That's fine. It's okay. One can debate without getting personal. Why do you have to repeatedly make these dives? Since the questions are posed to Ishkaran, I'm going to request him to respond, but let's not get personal. Please, my request to all of you. It's a very emotive issue, I can understand, but there's no need to get personal with a co-panelist. Ishkaran.
With the affidavit of Uttar Pradesh government, Supreme Court was not...
Madhav, it is often said it's better to keep your mouth shut and let people think you are a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt that you are a fool. That's what happened when the speaker before me was speaking. Nobody is questioning the wisdom of any court. What I am saying is what the affidavit of state of Uttar Pradesh said. It's an ongoing, that's what I'm saying. It's an ongoing case. All we have right now is an interim order. Interim orders, anytime there's a big change, forget this case, supposing something happens after 20 years, very often you get interim orders because the court wants to examine what is the result of the change. Is it a legal change? Does the law allow you to do it? When the final order comes, we will have to see what is the final order, and I'm just telling you what the state of Uttar Pradesh has submitted. Second aspect, it is not pigs going to the agricultural land. It is a special arrangement that the state of UP is saying in its affidavit, which is made during a day important to the religious minorities. So if you can do special arrangements for days important to religious minorities, you can of course make special arrangement for the majority community, unless you want to deny them that basic right. Thirdly, as I was saying, it's mandated by law that you have to display all details. Fourthly, which is very important, which has come out in this hearing, it is voluntary. If you voluntarily want to do it, you can. So people watching this program, lakhs of them, can decide if they want to voluntarily display their name.
Okay.
Why should you want to hide your name?
Let me bring in other panelists now, please. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, there is no compulsion. Special arrangements are made for all religions. There's also the potential of confusion related to diets, given that many Kanwariyas are illiterate and participate with religious fervor. These are some of the arguments that have been put forward today by the UP government.
No, this is pure dog whistling against rather I will say Hindus and Muslims alike by the state administration itself. Here in this case the Uttarakhand and the Uttar Pradesh police, and comparing the Kanwariyas with the arrangements that the Kanwariyas have with the dogs, with rather the pigs out here. I think this is insulting the sanctity of the entire Kanwar Yatra out here. So I don't think that the comparison is good out here. When the Uttar Pradesh government spends 2,500 crores on making arrangements for the Kumbh Mela, when Hemanta Biswa Sharma makes a 500 crore arrangements for development of temples, even the union budget this time has got funds for development of temples in Bihar. There is no objection to anybody out here. But I, as a peace-loving citizen of India, following the constitution, have got a problem when in Haridwar, white curtains are put up outside the places of religious worship of Muslims because the Kanwaris will be passing through that area. We all saw the videos that are viral in India all throughout the last 1 or 2 days when people were being harassed, where restaurants were being torn out, where cars were being attacked by the same shipwrecks out here. Why not the UP government make special arrangements for them?
Why were special arrangements if law and order is such a serious concern? Why have special arrangements not been made? Because at the end of the day, there is the Supreme Court hasn't lifted its ban, and also in other areas there is some kind of a discrimination that is being alleged by some of our panelists here, including Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary. Please respond.
Well, Madhav, let me make it very clear. As Ishkaran was saying, it's an interim order, and the date was extended today because the petitioner wanted to respond to the counter affidavit by filing rejoinder. To that extent only, and obviously the court will extend the interim order. That's the short point. However, if you look at our constitution, Article 25 clearly provides right to profess my religion to the fullest. And Muslims also have it, Christians also have it. And Article 26 also provides right to manage its own affairs in the matters of religion. So without any statutory backing, which in the first hearing the Supreme Court was asking, where is this statutory backing to this particular thing? Your constitution itself, the 2 articles itself provide. Thirdly, the Consumer Protection Act provides the consumer is a king and he must have an informed choice as to his food. This is the third one. This is in the absence of statutory backing I am talking about. I can understand the orders initially which were... Hello, there was some...
Okay, I think there's an audio problem there with Deshat Nigam, but certainly, of course, it's a debate that hasn't ended yet. We'll have to wrap it up here, gentlemen. Ishkaran Bhandari, Deshat Nigam, Kamruzaman Chaudhary, Tariq Khan. We'll have to wrap up this debate. Certainly, the last word not yet out, and all eyes will be on what the final order coming in from the Apex Court will be.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.